right, guys, we got today the live stream, June 6th, 2023, coming at you. Wait for it to connect and all that good stuff. So, yeah, Walking Dead universe, Fear the Walking Dead. We're going to talk about all things Walking Dead, that's for sure. A couple other shows and some just other stuff that we've been watching. And if anything you want to talk about, let us know in the chat. Super chats are always welcome. Top chat, everything. It'll just be a part of the live stream for the next hour. Thank you guys for being here. I'm One Eye Bry, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about the Walking Dead universe. That's for sure, guys. So I'm excited to talk about Fear the Walking Dead. I haven't seen the latest episode of From. There's a whole big thing going on with that, but I'll watch it later, hopefully, and we'll talk about that, even though I heard it's a good episode. Yeah, we're watching a couple other shows. If you're watching anything or recommend anything, please let me know in the chat. It's always welcome to recommend shows that I possibly could watch, or any other people in the community might watch as well. You know, some of the best stuff or recommendations through other people. So thank you guys for being here, taking the time to be a part of the live stream. It's always a good turnout, and it's always fun. So, yeah, guys, spoiler warning for all things Walking Dead. Michael says, I'm watching the From right now. So cool stuff. I'm excited to see what happens. You know, episode 6 was a big turning point in From, but I haven't seen it. My wife and I, we were watching Mayans on FX. That's season 5. The first 3 episodes are out. We were watching those 3. It's good so far. I mean, we'll see what happens with that. Sons of Anarchy fans are probably watching that. Slade says, I'm currently watching Banshee. I don't know what that is. Can you explain that a little bit? Tim, hey, Bri, how you doing? Good. Hey, Tim, how are you? So, Big Tree, Jeannie, Lindsay, Michael, Phantom, Tim, Slade, and everybody else that's joining currently. Thank you guys for taking the time. So, hopefully you guys seen my latest video that I posted yesterday about Rick and Michonne, Denai and Andy coming back to Sonoy. Pretty awesome stuff. Now, the word is that they were filming some promotional thing for their show, but they're not dressed like Michonne or Rick. They're dressed like Andy and Denai. Denai's got a big yellow dress on. What's a sleek yellow dress? Not a big yellow dress, but a sleek yellow dress. Andy's rocking, a denim shirt and, sneakers, not his cowboy boots. So it's like, what are we talking about here with them showing up there? But the good thing is that they were in Sonoy, back in Georgia, in and around Alexandria, where they filmed that. So some people don't know that Alexandria is a real community. Now, it's not called Alexandria. That's for the show. It's not in Virginia. That's for the show. It's Georgia, Sonoy. It's an actual neighborhood of homes. I don't know if any of the homes actually sold, but they were very expensive. It was pretty cool to see them back around Rick and Michonne's house on the show. I don't know if that house is still for sale, but I'm guessing it is. They were very expensive last time I checked. So, yeah, pretty interesting. Rob K says, I might start I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't know what these shows are you guys are telling me about, which is good. Sometimes I missed out on some stuff. We watched a movie today called Hypnotic with Ben Affleck, and it's about not like hypnosis, but it's a weird thing. It's a weird movie. The acting and the premise seems like really weird and cheesy up to a certain point, and then the last probably 15-20 minutes bring stuff together, and it's okay, but it's really nothing that great. But Fear the Walking Dead, guys. So I'm going to probably talk about the latest Fear the Walking Dead episode, probably starting around 15, 20, maybe 25 minutes into the live stream, because it's a really big episode. Fear the Walking Dead, to me, I'm not going to, deny it or say anything that I haven't said already before. But it's something that it's a miss. Fear the Walking Dead is more misses than hits. The potential was there. They finally reached their potential with connecting with The Walking Dead, besides bringing Sherry, Dwight, and Morgan around. So you bring 3 characters from The Walking Dead over, but it still feels like Fear the Walking Dead. It doesn't feel like The Walking Dead, which to me, The Walking Dead is a superior show. It's just something that I want to, we'll talk about that for sure, but it's a really major episode. Probably the biggest episode Fear the Walking Dead has ever done. so far in that. If for a lot of people, it feels like a Walking Dead episode, which is good. Rob K says, saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse last night. Highly recommend it. I have not seen it, but I'm excited to see that. The first one was really good. Michael Stamar, did you look up the Lazarus Project? I didn't see any. I didn't look up any Lazarus stuff. My guy Mike, I might have to look into that. But I know you talked about it last live stream, the Lazarus Project, which sounds pretty interesting. Let's see. Yeah, Gene wrote, did I be walking around Sonoy dressed like Belle in a big yellow dress? No, it wasn't. It wasn't like a big yellow dress. It was like a sleek yellow dress. But yeah, I see she's like Belle from Beauty and the Beast. That was a big yellow dress. So yeah, we watched that. I told you this thing on HBO. Well, Max now. It's called Max, but it's called Smart Less, and I guess it's a podcast by Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes, and it's hilarious. Like, it's really good. I think it's 6 episodes. They travel around to different cities. The only thing I don't like about it is it's in black and white, and I don't know why it was filmed in black and white, but it's cool to see them 3 guys just messing with each other and just being good friends. You can see that Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, and Sean Hayes are good friends, and you can see they mess with each other like friends do, and it's kind of cool to see. But if you have Max or the ability to watch anything on HBO, it's I'll write it in here because it sounds weird, but it's called Smart Less, and they got different celebrities come out and stuff, and it's really funny. It's where I was cracking up really every episode, and it's definitely interesting for sure. So Hamza asks, what characters from Fear and Worlds Beyond do you think will pop up in the new spin-off? I don't think anybody will, personally. I mean, I don't know if they're going to plan that or do that. I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm not going to hope for it and want for it. I don't think that we're going to see Hope and Iris and Dr. Bennett, and we're going to see Jadis again. I mean, I guess technically she's from The Walking Dead and World Beyond, but I don't really care if Morgan's going to show up or not. If it's going to happen, great. If not, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, The Walking Dead's terrible. We don't have a reunion with Morgan and Rick. If it happens, awesome. If it doesn't, it is what it is. You know, we got to move on from it. We can't think about all this. And like when I'm talking about Fear the Walking Dead episode, it's kind of a big thing that I'll talk about, in the last probably 4. I'm going to go around the 15-minute mark, but we'll do that. So ultimately, there's a lot of people expecting a lot of things from these spinoffs. The Rick and Michonne show needs to tie up a lot of things. The Daryl show hopefully is going to connect with the World Beyond post-credit scene. There's word and a picture. There's one picture of Carol, Melissa McBride, in a car driving somewhere. Now, we don't know where it is. I guess it's somewhere in Europe. I don't know where it is personally. So the word is, the rumor is, the speculation, whatever you want to call it, is that Carol is going to be in the 2nd season of the Daryl Dixon show. Good. Great. So to me, it's going to probably start when Daryl finds Carol or Carol finds Daryl. The other stuff, I'm like, great. Daryl goes to France and he meets this group and these nuns or this convent and these people and these kids. Great. All right. Maybe it's interesting. Maybe it's not. It's probably going to really start if they connect the dots with the Walking Dead universe. Carol shows up, World Beyond post-credit sequence, just whatever else they want to do. The other stuff is just filler. And Fear the Walking Dead has been filler from the first episode. Basically, to me, Fear the Walking Dead has been a huge waste of time, energy, effort for them to go 8 seasons to finally go season 8, episode 4, King County. It took all those years, all that time, all that writing, all that nonsense for that to happen. And I'm glad it happened, but what are they doing? What are they doing? It's just crazy. I'm like, the stuff with Morgan is great. The other characters fit, but then they don't fit. Like Mo, the new character Mo just does not fit at any point in any of the episodes that she's been in. It's just been like, I don't know if it's the actress and the writing, or the writing and the actress, or the writing and how the actress is portraying it. I just don't know what it is, but it's just not working for me. it's just like they're giving the character too much credit, too much knowledge, too much education, too much training, too much ability. She's 8 years old, right? I don't know about you. I don't know how smart 8-year-olds are, especially in the zombie apocalypse, especially without internet, technology, education, people teaching. Like, what does an 8-year-old learn in a zombie apocalypse, right? To defend themselves, to protect themselves, to survive, to whatever. I don't know, but it is what it is. The character is kind of laughable. It's just, I don't know. So again, we'll talk more about that in the last 45 minutes or so. Michael Singer says, NBA champs, early prediction, Denver Nuggets, Jokic MVP. I agree. I think it makes sense. I think Jokic is the best player in the NBA and has been for the past 3 seasons. So, yeah, I don't know how Carol's going to end up finding Daryl. I don't know how Daryl's actually going to end up going to France. I don't know how Daryl's going to get on a boat and then not be able to get back. It just seems really far-fetched. I think Daryl's like, you know what? Let's go to France. Let's go there. Let's connect the dots. Let's do these things. I think it'd be great. Norman Reedus is probably like, hey, we can go get a vacation out of it. I don't mind going to Europe. And he's a very busy guy. Like, he's doing this show and that and coming over here and flying back to the States and then coming to this and going to the set of Rick and Michonne show and then flying back and then filming here and then filming there. And like, he's nonstop, man. He's all the time. Go, 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 go. I haven't seen him at any times, or very minimal times, not be connected with some sort of show, production, video game, something going on. You know, like between Walking Dead stuff, Norman Reedus was filming Ride with Norman Reedus. He was filming movies. He was in stuff. He was in smaller parts, but he was always doing stuff. And I just think that's how he is. He's a go-getter. He's a grinder, and he's doing some good stuff as well, which is cool. And it's always cool to see, people from The Walking Dead. And it's so funny. Like, I'm on social media, and I'm in a bunch of groups on social media on Walking Dead related. And like, I don't know if it's every week or every month or every so often, but every so often there is a person that posts like, The Mist. I just watched The Mist, and there's so many people from The Walking Dead. Like, Carol's in it, Dale's in it, and you're like, wow, it's just crazy to me to think that people are just finding out for the first time now that The Mist has so many people in the Walking Dead universe in that show or that movie, and Frank Darabont is connected with that, and he was part of the Walking Dead. It was just it's the turning point of it. The Mist is a good movie. It's definitely a nail biter, twists and turns, and that ending is crazy. But it's just kind of crazy to me. And people are like posting stuff like, "Oh, I saw this," or they'll post an SUV. Or SVU Law and Order thing, like where they're like, oh, look at this, Norman Reedus is on there, Tara's on here, Maggie's on here, and like so many of the people are on there for sure. Phantom Did says, have you watched Avatar: The Last Airbender? Is that the one, like the live action movie or whatever? I saw that a while ago. I haven't watched an animated movie or anything like that, but I don't know, that movie was not very good. But other than that, guys, we're watching, a couple of other shows here and there, and we're excited because in 2 weeks, Dead City is going to premiere on AMC. I believe it's the 15th on AMC Plus. So I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see where Fear the Walking Dead ends, and I'm really interested to see where Dead City really starts on the 18th. So the 18th is a big day because the 18th is Fear the Walking Dead mid-season finale, season 8, episode 6, and then Dead City season 1, episode 1, the pilot episode, which is cool. So, I don't watch, John. I don't really care about wrestling until like Royal Rumble, maybe SummerSlam. But I don't care about Roman Reigns. Like, I don't really care about a lot of the wrestlers that are out there now. So doesn't really matter to me. Constipated Sin City. Hey, PT, how are you? And I don't know, like, about where the future of the Walking Dead universe is going after Fear the Walking Dead. And a lot of people ask all the time, is Morgan going to die? What's going to happen with this? Are these characters going to come to other shows? You know what's crazy? So, spoiler, I guess. Minor spoiler. We haven't seen Strand, Luciana, Charlie. I guess we're not going to see Sarah, Wendell, at all in 4 episodes of Fear the Walking Dead. The biggest one is Strand. We haven't seen him at all. And yeah, we're going to see Daniel, and we're going to see them, start the fight against Padre. And it's building towards that. But I don't know. What do you think is going to happen? Are you excited to see Strand? Are you excited to see where these characters are? I mean, we're running out of episodes. Every week that's not answered, we're running out of stuff. So, let me see. Tim says, for some reason, as of this live chat, From episodes hasn't come on for me yet. Yeah, I know that's a problem, Tim, with From on Amazon. On MGM Plus through Amazon. If you have the MGM Plus app or the MGM Plus service, you can watch it there. But Amazon is being weird with this episode. I don't know what's happening with it. It's not up for a lot of people. So if it's on, a lot of people are getting rid of it through through Amazon, the MGM Plus thing. But if you're watching it through its own separate app or company or website or whatever, the MGM Plus account, you can watch it there. But I don't know. It's not coming up for a lot of people, and myself included. So all right, guys, let's talk about Fear the Walking Dead season 8, episode 4, King County, because it's a lot to unpack here. So I'm going to talk about spoilers, and I don't want you to talk. If you don't want to know the episode, it's definitely something that I want to talk about for sure. So. Winterfall 26 says, knowing Strand, he will act like the traitor he is again. So no, I'm not looking for. Yeah, Strand to me, he was a character that had great potential, and that Strand is summing up Fear the Walking Dead. He's had his moments. He's been up and down and all around, and I'm excited to see what happens with the character at the end, because I want to know what happens with them. But Strand, I think, should have died 2 seasons ago. Or, season 6, season 7 should have died with the epic showdown at the tower that fell flat. It just doesn't make sense. Constipated Sin City APT, have there been characters that you wanted them to die quickly? Well, of course, like Jared and annoying characters from the Saviors and all that stuff that were, there. But that's what the shows love to do. They love to have a character that we hate, dislike, that annoys us, that is not really worth watching, and we hate, and we don't want to pay any mind to, but we have to. They force it down our throats time and time again, like Jared on The Walking Dead. Annoying, still annoying, real annoying, and then a couple episodes later, still around, episodes later, escapes, episodes later, finally gets killed. You're like, that took way too long, too, so. Mike says, I just saw episode 7 of From on Sling MGM Plus. So it's a problem with this episode. I don't know what's going on with From, but they need to figure it out on all the platforms, because I hear the episode's really good. I just haven't seen it yet. So all right, guys, so let's talk about Fear the Walking Dead. So season 8, episode 4 is titled King County. And it's about time that the Walking Dead universe has connected with going back to King County. So for those who don't know, King County is a fictional place in Georgia. That is where Rick Grimes was a sheriff's deputy. He was part of King County, Morgan, Duane, pilot episode, King County. We don't see Rick's house. We don't see the actual house that Morgan went to in season 1, episode 1, the pilot episode of The Walking Dead, because that is outside of Atlanta. In Savannah is where Fear the Walking Dead was filmed. So Fear the Walking Dead is filmed at a different location. Now they built the set and they built this stuff there, and it's definitely interesting to see how it looks. It's the same but different. It's different but the same. So Morgan goes back to King County, and the episode starts with him going to a sign that says King County, and he taps it with a wooden stake that he's fashioned into a spear, and he's walking down the street, and he's walking there, and he sees a bunch of walkers. And I think the group of walkers are eating a skunk or skunks, so they stink and they're terrible. Morgan goes back to a house that he thinks Duane is in. He's going there to put Duane down. He says, sorry it took so long. But Morgan is basically going back to King County to put down Duane, who's a walker. Some people are hoping that Duane is not a walker, that Padre saved him, that he was going to be around. And it's not answered until the very last 10 minutes of the episode. But Morgan goes to the house and he tries to open the door, but he can't do it. We hear a walker inside, but he can't do it. So he leaves the house and runs away. Morgan kind of, he's been all over the place the entire Walking Dead universe. He's been up and down and clear mode and save mode and running away from his problems. Couldn't put his walker wife down, who ended up biting Duane. We didn't see it on camera, but we heard several times. We never saw it, so people were always talking about it as this didn't happen, that didn't happen, we didn't see it happen. Maybe Duane's alive. Maybe Duane is this character. Maybe Duane was that character. Maybe Duane was Wes. Maybe Duane was Elijah. Like, it was any time. Maybe Duane was Virgil. Like, every time we saw a new character, they were like, it's Duane, it's Duane, it's Duane. And it's not. Duane is actually a walker. And we get to see him as a walker in the episode. Morgan finally puts him down and takes him out, and we get to see it on camera, so that can end the debate of the Duane debate once and for all. And that's probably the biggest thing in this episode, is that Duane is a walker. We see it. He's chained up in the attic, which is pretty interesting because it reminds me a lot of the Governor and Penny, and there's a lot of nuances with the Governor in this episode with The Walking Dead, and it feels like The Walking Dead. Kane County, Morgan, Dwight, Sherry are in there too. So they have to put... I wish Morgan was by himself. So as Morgan's walking around and kills the group of walkers that were eating the two skunks, a Padre car or truck comes out of nowhere, and Morgan sees the truck and he hides behind it, and he comes around, and it's Grace in the truck. So Morgan's like, "What are you doing here?" And Grace says, "You sent me a message. You sent me how to go here. You sent me what to do." Then there's a little movement in the back of the truck. They move the tarp, and it's Mo. So Mo is there. She actually sent the message. So again, she's the smartest 8-year-old that knows how to send messages, to decode messages, to send what to do, to get into the back of the truck, to kill walkers, to get to the train car. She knows what's happening with Finch every time. She knows what she's doing. She's connected with all things that need to be. She's connected with, Madison, who's going to take back the Padre and take over the stuff. And she's connected with so many things, right? So we're like, man. So it's definitely something that Mo's just, to me, doesn't really work. But it's definitely something that she's forced upon us. She's, has a lot of plot armor, and she actually is about to get bit at the end of the episode, and Grace gets bit instead. I don't know how Grace gets bit, how she gets bit on her side, and she doesn't scream or yell. Like, if somebody bit you, you'd be like, ow, ah, ooh. You wouldn't be like, it's for dramatic effect. It's for this, It's the same thing happened on The Last of Us. When Ellie gets bit, it's like, if somebody bit your arm, your forearm, that would hurt. It would really hurt, right? You would scream in pain. It's just, it's just laughable what they do. Walkers sneak up on stuff. They're not like stealth, but they are in the Walking Dead universe. It's just kind of laughable. But either way, so Mo, Morgan, and Grace are talking. We hear a flare goes up. We see horseback. We hear horses going around. It's great. It's Sherry and Dwight. And they were tasked to find Morgan and bring him back to Padre, because Padre is worried that Morgan is going to work with the people and raise an army and get everyone together and go up against them. But Dwight and Sherry are there to not kill Morgan. They want answers. And we know that Shrike has Finch, and Shrike is not going to give Finch back to Dwight and Sherry. Really at all, I would think. But unless they get answers from Morgan on there too. So it's definitely something that I see where they were going with it. But Dwight doesn't want to hurt Morgan. They're kind of on the same team. They're kind of friends, even though Morgan sent Dwight and Sherry to Padre and I guess ended up getting them in trouble. And, it is what it is. So either way, they go to the house. Well, Morgan, Mo, and Grace run to a house to hide. and it turns out to be the house that Morgan was at. And I call it the Morgan house, and people love to correct me. Not everybody, but there's like a couple, correctors in the comments. They're like, that wasn't Morgan's house. That was Rick's neighbor's house. Great. Who cares? Who cares exactly who owned it, right? It's Morgan's house. That'd be from the episode that we saw, season 1, episode 1. I say Morgan's house, you know what I'm talking about. It's funny. Those are the same people that correct people's grammar or whatever, how they talk and how they speak too. But probably, I'm guessing. So either way, they go to the house, and it's the house. It's the yellow. It's not the same house. It's a different location. They built it up. It's a different kind of front porch. It's the same, but it's not the same. You see the side-by-sides, and it's different. Inside the house, they made a set for it for filming, and it was a set that they built, and they had the schematics from the first pilot episode. And the trimming's a little different, and the stuff that's a little different, but they have the blankets up, and it's a lot of connections and feels to the episode with Rick, Morgan, and Duane. And it's cool. And Morgan knows the house, and he's like, yeah, get the lanterns underneath. There should be batteries, and they're there. And then Grace is like, how do you know this house? And we all know that Morgan was there before. So Morgan was at a couple different homes, and there's writing all over the different rooms. So it's definitely something that I like to see the connections with. It just took forever. That was season 1, episode 1 of The Walking Dead, and we finally went back there on season 8, episode 4 of Fear the Walking Dead, which is crazy that there. And we kind of went back there with Morgan in season 3, the same area but not the same house. And when he was there, and he took up the city or the town, and he was trying to take over stuff. It was cool. It was definitely cool. Carol asks, Q&A, has it been said where Padre is? It seems getting to northern GA from Texas or Louisiana would take a significant amount of time in a zombie apocalypse. I don't know, Carol. That's a good question. I don't know the exact location. I don't know where it is, but this is something that Fear the Walking Dead, and really the Walking Dead universe as a whole, like, we don't even know where Alexandria is in relation to Hilltop versus the Sanctuary versus the Commonwealth. Like, we kind of know where they are. Oceanside, like, we know where they are, but we don't know where they are. But yes, so King County, Georgia is where Morgan goes, and he's walking on foot. Then when they leave the homes, then they get in the truck at the end, they drive to like a boat dock. And there's a boat, and there's everything there. And they're filming in Savannah, so they have the waterways. They have the Atlantic Ocean there. They have different stuff. So it's definitely something. Man, Constipated Sin City, I don't know what your deal is with it. You say, Mo needs to become a gumshoe and go find where in the world is Carmen Sandiego. Morgan had to put Duane down. Morgan said, Duane, clean your room and get a job. Yeah, well, Morgan and Duane are finally settled, and Duane is a walker, and he was bit by Jenny. So during the episode, we see that Morgan sees walkers, and he can't put the walkers down because he sees his wife. So it's definitely something that I understand where Morgan is because he kept seeing that, but how come he sees it now? Because he's in King County and he sees that, but he was killing walkers before. How is it anything different when he had the rifle anytime he saw the thing? So the continuity is there, but what it is, and we understand what it is. And so some people are saying that it's the same actress who played Jenny. To me, it looks different. The hair looks different. The face looks different. The woman probably looks different because it was like 10 years ago that they filmed it, so it was a long time ago. And that the dress doesn't have the same tear in it. And it's the same, but it's different. It's different, but it's the same. Same thing with the house. Same thing with the outfits. The same thing with Duane Walker. It's the same, but it's different. The house, the inside of the house. So it's just something. And then some people were saying before, like, didn't the neighborhood burn down? And didn't Morgan burn it down? In season 3, when Morgan talks about this, they see on the map that Morgan burned it down and this and that. Well, I don't know. Again, I don't really care. They go back to King County. He goes to the house. They set it on fire because of Padre. Dwight gives Morgan plenty of time to come out, do this and that. It's a bunch of dialogue back and forth, and they get the gun. Morgan actually mentions Rick. I think he says, my friend Rick gave me this gun. And then Grace is like, yeah, well, Rick gave you this gun. Rick gave you this gun for a reason. And so it's finally about time that Rick Grimes was mentioned by Morgan. And not like, I had a friend back home, or I had a police friend back home, or I had this back home. He deserved better, blah, blah, blah. Rick Grimes' name was actually mentioned, which is awesome, and it needs to be, because we all know, if you're watching Fear the Walking Dead, you watch The Walking Dead, and you know Rick Grimes is there too. So it's pretty cool stuff, but it's the same rifle that was given to Morgan in the pilot episode, which is amazing, and it's an awesome, and I love little callbacks and connections like that. How about you? So it was definitely something that we get to see things from The Walking Dead come back around again, which was awesome. And I'm glad we got to see all that stuff. And so Morgan basically comes to see Dwight and Sherry after they kill walkers, and they do this, and it's a whole big thing. They go back to the other house that was supposed to be where Duane was at, when Morgan went there to kill Walker Duane. He goes inside the house, and Dwight and Sherry and the other two Padre people and Mo, and everybody goes there. Well, besides Mo stays in the house, and she hides. So it's Morgan, Grace, Dwight, Sherry, and the two Padre people go to the other house. Mo is still in the Walking Dead house that Morgan stayed in with Duane in the first episode. So they go in, they hear the walker banging on the door, and and Morgan's like, let me do it. I should be the one to do it. They open the door. It's not Duane. They kill the walker. Morgan freaks out. He's like, I put you at risk. No, not even here. What am I doing? No, he starts to be, upset about it. So the Padre lady, I think it's Oriole is her name, right? The bird names continue, which is laughable. But they continue with that. And so she says, Padre wants to know, what are you doing here, Morgan? And she calls Shrike on the radio. And on the radio, Shrike is talking to the lady. She's just in a room. And Dwight says, I want to know that Finch is okay. 2 feet to the left is Finch. Magically, she's just in the same room with Finch. Finch says, I'm doing okay. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. So she's, Finch is actually healed from the radiation, or somewhat healed. I don't know if he has to keep getting radiation. Is it short-lived? Is he actually going to die? Or is radiation the cure? Is that where they're going with radiation is the cure in the zombie apocalypse? So that's not easy to have. It's not like you just go to a drugstore and pick up some radiation pills and be like, there you go, I'm done, right? So it's definitely something that it's pretty cool, but I don't know what's going to actually come from it. They're wrapping up stuff on Fear the Walking Dead. We have so many episodes left, and they're wrapping up stuff. So the possible cure, King County, Duane, Jenny. So in that same house, Morgan goes over to a body, of a walker body, and it's of Jenny. So did he put her down? Did somebody else put her down? We don't know. She's laying there on the ground. We know it's Jenny because it's the same outfit. It's a skeleton, basically, and then we see the hair. It's a walker body, but it's basically a very frail, body. And Morgan knows it's Jenny. He puts over the blanket or something and covers her up. And that's the whole thing when they have the conversation about this. The Padre guy puts the gun to Morgan's head, and there's like a switch that Morgan flips. He's looking at the gun barrel, and then he's grabs it, puts it on his head, and he's like, if you're going to shoot me, then shoot me. Kill me. I'm already dead. Just kill me. And you can see he gets mad about it. To me, that was the switch where he goes into clear mode. And Dwight's trying to calm down, everybody. Let's give it some time. And Grace is like, they'll kill you, Morgan. Just tell them. They're going to kill you. Tell them. You're going to tell them. Kill them. They're going to kill you, Morgan. He's relax, Grace. We know Morgan's not going to die. And Dwight intervenes, knocks out the guy, I guess kills the Padre person, and they take out the other Padre person. And that's when Dwight goes on the radio and talks with Shrike, and we know Finch is okay. And Dwight's like, Finch, you remember that thing where I said, sweep the sweep? I don't know. He says something like sweep the leg or something. He's like, sweep it. And he's like, okay, a chimney sweep. He's like, chimney sweep. I teach you the thing, chimney sweep. He's like, yeah, I remember that. Okay. So then he takes out Shrike's legs, and Shrike goes down, gets knocked out. And Dwight's like, did it work? He's like, yep, I think it worked. So Shrike is the weakest villain, but she gets like knocked down and knocked out. It's like laughable. Like, it's just so funny. So then Finch is like, you meet us at the dock. Or Dwight's like, meet us at the docks where you got to be. We told you where to meet the one time, right? It's like, okay, I'll be there. And then you go there, and Dwight and Sherry are there. Finch gets there, and there's a big reunion, and they're good. And, they're reunited, and it feels so good. So we got them, that done. Morgan, Grace are in the house. Dwight and Sherry have to ride and leave, so they leave. Grace and Morgan. Grace tells Morgan that she's dying from the radiation. She doesn't feel good. She went to a hospital, see someone about her condition, to see about all the stuff, and she is dying, is what she thinks, is what she says. So they say, oh, it's sad, it's this and that, and then Morgan goes back to the house with his rifle to save Mo because the house is on fire. He runs back. Oh, also there's another part earlier that Grace and Morgan kiss, and Mo is like, what was that? He's like, you haven't seen anyone. Morgan asks Mo, you haven't seen anyone get kissed before? And she's like, no, and I don't want to either. And so it's like she's 8 years old, but there's no relationships at Padre. There's nobody together where you see people hug and hold hands and kiss and show affection. Like, you don't see that at all. I don't know. Again, it's just weird. But she's 8 years old, and she's like, ew, gross, basically. So Mo gets like, she's like, the house is on fire. Morgan says, go to the attic, Mo. And Mo's like, okay, I'll go to the attic. And she's going to the attic. And as she goes up there, Morgan is like killing the walkers and doing this outside. And he sees his Jenny again as the walkers. And he overcomes it and gets into the house. But as Mo is in the attic, it's like smoky and, it's just, the fire and everything is making it terrible. So she goes and we hear something like chains moving, like a movement, and it's like in the distance, and we hear a walker, and like this, and then Mo's like walking through it, and we see on the wall, it says Duane, and it says stay there. So Morgan wrote this. So Duane was bit by Jenny. I guess Morgan takes him up the attic, goes into the house, goes up the attic, and chains up Duane, because we see Duane as a walker. His face is all tore up. He's missing a right eyeball. He's got like his cheekbones are exposed. You see his teeth. He's wearing the same purple jacket and the blue shirt that we saw him in at the end of in the Walking Dead season 1, episode 1. So it fits. It connects. The continuity is there. They did really good with that. But it must have sucked. He was wearing the same outfit and the same clothes and the same underwear for all that time. He died. He was chained up in the attic for like 10 plus years. He didn't wither away. He didn't have, anything break down on him. It's just laughable what they do with these walkers, because you would be worn down to like brittle bones. Like, he wouldn't have any blood or nutrition or this coming in. Like, he would just wither away. The decay would just take him away. But either way, Mo is walking towards the walker, not away from it. She's like, let me go see what this is. She's real smart, right? So let me go see what this is, what it is. And he's like, Duane? And then the house kind of crumbles and she falls down and she's trapped. And Morgan goes up the stairs and he sees Duane as a walker. And he's like, I came back here with him? Because Morgan doesn't remember anything. Morgan has amnesia from the chaos when he lost Jenny and Duane. He just blanked out. He blanked out all those things, and probably didn't really remember anything until Eastman. And I really hope they go back to the Eastman house. They don't in this episode, but hopefully he comes back in another episode. I would assume that may happen in the second part, the last 6 episodes, because we all know Padre's going to go down. We know Shrike's going to fail and Crane's going to go down, and the kids are going to go free, and they're going to be reunited with their parents and all that stuff. That'll probably be the 6th episode or maybe 7th of this season. But then what about 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? Like, where do you go for the remaining episodes? Or they stretch it out a little bit and then Padre actually falls. And there's the picture with Morgan and Mo by the graveyard, or by the headstone crosses, that we get to see them, and we're guessing and hoping that it's Eastman's place, because that would be really awesome. So hopefully they have callbacks there and they set things up and there'll be more stuff connected with The Walking Dead. So either way, sorry I got interrupted. Morgan goes and ends up putting the scope on Walker Duane. And as he puts the scope on Duane from his rifle, he remembers the stuff from the first episode. Duane in the house, him saying dad. And as soon as Duane says dad, like because when he hits Rick with the shovel, he's like, I got him good. I smacked him with the shovel. He's like, dad. And then Morgan comes over and shoots the walker in the first episode. It's that part there. Morgan remembers that, and boom, he shoots Walker Duane and puts him down. Saves Mo in the process. So he gets closure. The fans get closure. We all get closure with Walker Duane, which is about time. Again, season 1, episode 1. Season 3 when Morgan came around. Season 5 when Morgan came back around again full time. Season 6, Season 7, Season 8. He leaves, goes to Fear the Walking Dead, goes over here, goes from Virginia to Texas. Why didn't he just go from Virginia to Georgia and do what he had to do? But the writing didn't call for it and whatever. It's just nonsense stuff, but that's Fear the Walking Dead in a nutshell. So then Morgan saves Mo. The next scene is it's daytime. They dug the graves. They bury Duane and Jenny. Morgan puts down some flowers. They have the crosses as the headstones. Grace and Morgan are talking. It's a nice thing. They're saying, okay, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do this? Blah, blah, blah. Mo finds the photo album that I guess Jenny took, because the connection with Lori, Rick's wife, and Jenny, Morgan's wife, they were grabbing photo albums. So when they were leaving the house and the world was crumbling and falling apart, they're trying to get photo albums. So Mo sits down in the rubble looking at the pictures, and we see the Jones family, we see Duane and Morgan, we see Jenny, and we see the nice family photo album. And as Mo is sitting there, a walker comes out. The jump scare moment of the rubble. And we saw that in the trailer, so we knew that was coming at some point. But the walker, basically jumps out the rubble and attacks Mo. Grace and Morgan go over to the walker. They kill the walker, but in the process of saving Mo, Grace gets bit on the right abdomen. Her, basically where her appendix is. Her side, her right abdomen side. And Morgan is checking Mo, and are you okay? No, I'm okay. I didn't get bit. And then Grace turns and she reveals the bite. So then now that basically painted them in a corner that Morgan, Mo, and Grace can't leave because they need to stay to get the radiation treatment that June has been doing to save Grace's life. Now, I personally don't think Grace is going to live because she's already sick and dying from the radiation, and more radiation is going to kill her. So I don't think it's going to work. Or Padre is going to cause problems. Next episode, we know that they're going to try to find the train car with it, but Shrike has a train car lab for a reason, so it can move. So I don't know if it's going to, make sense with Grace dying or not, but I could see that happening, and that's what sets off Morgan to go in All I See Is Red clear mode. But, we'll have to see. That's, season 8, episode 6 is All I See Is Red is the title, and that could be when Morgan freaks out and starts killing a bunch of the Padre people. So, again, like I said, Morgan, Grace, and Mo get into the Padre truck and drive to the boat dock. That is the same place that Dwight, Sherry, and Finch are at. Morgan kills the 2 Padre people. They get on the boat, and they sail away. As Dwight is, driving the boat, we see Dwight, Sherry, and Finch on the boat. Morgan, Grace, and Mo on the boat as well. And Grace is not doing so well. I have to point out the red washcloth that Morgan has on Grace's head. Does that mean anything? Only time will tell. Will she die? It's 50-50. She survives and the radiation treatment works and she's cured, or she dies. That sets Morgan off down the path for that. I don't see pictures of that picture with Mo and Grace. With Mo and Morgan. I don't see Grace. Are they at Grace's grave? Could be. It fits. But again, I'm not the writer of the show. I don't know where it is, and that's how the episode ends. Now, next week's episode, we get to see Padre people are going after Morgan's boat. Dwight is, driving the boat. They're going after them. Shrike tells them that the lab in the train car is thing, or Colt asked the question, is red theory like an actual thing, or is it just a massive coincidence? It's debatable. It's whatever you want to think it is, but to me, it has some validity. It has definitely some truth to it, and it makes a lot of sense. But to me, it's a fun theory that connects, and it's connected so far already on Fear the Walking Dead and really highlighted some things already. So we'll have to see if it rings true. Is it 100% accurate? No, that's why it's a theory. The red theory, could it strike again? I think so, but only time will tell. So next week we see, the boat chase, and we see Shrike on the radio again. She must have woke up from her third concussion, and we see a map that we think is around Savannah, in Georgia, which makes sense because they filmed in Savannah, Georgia. King County's in Georgia. So we'll have to see. And then we see Morgan in the woods, and he's like, don't try to stop me. Morgan's going. But I think there has to be a catalyst that makes Morgan want to go against Padre. And I think the death of Grace makes sense too. So Deadly Tagora 82 says, do a red theory video from start to end of every Walking Dead death. That would be, I've already done it enough times. It already goes back to season 1 with Amy and the red bucket and everything there. So it's been around since season 1. I've talked about it numerous times and highlighted it numerous times, the red lanterns and the red theory and the red clothing and the red objects. And it's connected on a lot of seasons in the Walking Dead universe, especially there. But the colors are symbolic. They are. There's a lot of symbolism in books, stories, shows, movies. And colors are a way to do that, an easy way to do that too. So whether you believe it or not and see where it goes, symbolism is used in stuff for sure. Like Negan once says, Star Trek red shirt, that's definitely a thing that's been around there. A red shirt is a new character that's literally in a red shirt, and it's probably going to die in that same episode on Star Trek. So it's definitely something to it as well. So it's definitely something I'm excited to see where it is, and it's about time that we had the connections with Duane. So Morales went away. We didn't see him again until, season 8 of The Walking Dead? So that was 7 seasons. We saw Duane in season 1, episode 1. So Duane and Jenny in season 1, episode 1 of The Walking Dead. It took all those years and all that stuff. It's just crazy that Fear the Walking Dead, season 8, episode 4 is when we got answers for Duane, Jenny, King County, Morgan. It just was cool to see that. Now, all this stuff that's crazy, it's definitely something that I don't know where it's going to go with the rest of the stuff. And Fear the Walking Dead, I've said it time and time again, it was a great idea. There's good ideas and there's good execution of those ideas. And I think Fear the Walking Dead was because in theory, you think Walking Dead is a game-changing show. For me, for a lot of people, right? And it really put a lot of good focus on television. You can expand on stuff. You could go into character development. You could do a lot of good things with it. Put the time, energy, effort into it. And it really changed a lot of people. The Walking Dead was a huge show. One of the biggest shows in cable history. And back in the day when you had 6 channels or 5, whatever. So you had ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, right? 4 or 5 channels. And there's only so much TV to watch. So yeah, you're going to have huge ratings for Cheers or MASH or Roseanne or stuff like that. Like those shows were huge, and those shows were good too. But there's a lot of people out there watching a lot of stuff now. And to watch the Walking Dead success, really in the first 6, the peak of it is, seasons 3, 4, and 5, or 4, 5, and 6, or whatever the actual peak of the actual viewership was. But it's amazing what it's done. Fear the Walking Dead could have been amazing, and instead, it's just poorly executed. And maybe it's the writing, maybe it's the budget, maybe they didn't want to put didn't want to put a lot of stuff into it. If you don't have the budget, the energy, the writing, the people to be behind something, it can't be good. You're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up to not be that great. World Beyond had its moments, the next spin-offs. So, like I said, in 2 weeks, we have Dead City premiering. And I'm keeping my expectations really low. I don't think any of these shows are going to be the best things ever. But I do hope that the Rick and Michonne one, I hope they're all good. But I hope the Rick and Michonne one is great. But I'm expecting it to be 6 episodes, possibly rushed, possibly glancing over stuff. Because we want a lot of stuff. We're expecting a lot. The fans, the viewers are expecting a lot of things. So, they're expecting Rick and Michonne to be reunited. They're going to come back. Are they going to come back to Alexandria, the Commonwealth? Are they going to be safe? Are we going to have other reunions? Is Daryl going to show up? Is Morgan going to show up? What about the timeline? How many years is it? Do we have a possibility of other characters coming around, from other shows? There's just a lot of stuff, too, so... Phantom Deluxe Q&A. After all these years with millions of walkers killed and tons of hordes destroyed, why the walker population is still alive? I ask that question every time I see a bunch of walkers there, Phantom Deluxe. What's going to be? It's going to be crazy. Is New York City, Dead City? That's a great segue, because Dead City, Manhattan is an island, right? And I'm guessing you blow the bridges. There's only one way in on boat. But if there was a couple, I don't know how many millions of people would have been in Manhattan at the start of the zombie apocalypse. They tried to get off. They didn't. They couldn't survive. The virus took over. The people took over. People died and all that stuff too. But so if it was 10 years and then another year and another year. So I don't know. Has it been 12, 13 years? 14 years when Maggie and Negan go to New York City. In 14 years, that's crazy. And there's not going to be a constant supply of walkers coming in there over and over and over and over and over again unless it's explained. Unless they explained on it too. Unless they actually gave us some... They explained a little bit about the lore of the walkers and that, this and that. And it was 100 million to 1 or something, some crazy numbers on there too. But okay, that's what it was at one point. It's like if you have an animal or a bunch of animals and you don't feed them, you don't take care of them, they don't have a food supply or a water supply, and they can't flourish and they can't survive, they're going to die off. Hence, why certain animals become extinct. There's only a certain amount of them. They don't survive or reproduce. Walkers aren't reproducing. There's not little baby walkers. 2 walkers came together and they have a baby walker. That's not how it works. But it's just a thing that we just have to accept and laugh at, and just funny is to be yeah, there's a million walkers there. Because when in doubt, just bring some walkers in. Oh, no. King County, why are there so many walkers around in King County? That was 12 years ago. When Rick was there weren't even that many walkers. Where did all these walkers come from? But, it is what it is. The walkers are roaches. They're just going to be, the bugs, insects. They're just going to be there. They're multiplying, staying around forever. But it just would be good if they explored that a little bit more, like with the CDC or even Milton or another two. Not like, maybe the walkers remember. Maybe they remember where they were. Maybe that's where they try to go home. Maybe that's why they turn doorknobs. Like, I don't care. I don't care about any of that. I could care less. Oh, the walker remembers. Oh, he's not going to turn magically back to himself. Jenny's not going to magically just be, hey, Jenny, I'm back. Where you been, Morgan? You look great. And she's back to being Morgan's wife. No, she's a walker. Oh, great. She turned the doorknob. Great. Who cares? It's like so stupid. Like, ooh, the variant walkers. But then in the Dead City trailer, we see them doing parkour, and then there's all together, like looking like something out of Resident Evil or something too. So, but yeah, Jeannie was like, well, why are they not decaying or getting eaten by animals? Right. I don't know. It's just what it is. It's not a perfect universe, perfect continuity, perfect everything. But, you know, it's kind of interesting to see where it's happening with the future of it. It's still, you know, relevant. King County was a great step for Fear the Walking Dead. And it's crazy to think that season 8, episode 4, well, one, we got that far. We got 8 seasons of Fear the Walking Dead. But season 8, episode 4, that's probably the best, if not a top 3 episode of Fear the Walking Dead. It's definitely up there as one of the best episodes in all those seasons of all those episodes of Fear the Walking Dead. Because it felt like The Walking Dead. Because it connected with The Walking Dead. It connected with King County, Morgan, Duane, Jenny, Rick, King County, Walking Dead pilot episode. You know? And hopefully we get more of those. Hopefully there's still more connections coming too. Carol, Q&A, you think there will be variants in Fear? I don't know. Like, I don't know how that would fit. I don't know how Fear the Walking Dead makes that relevant for it. Now, the variants were thrown in there because, one, it kind of helped with the story for The Walking Dead with the Commonwealth arc. The Commonwealth story was like political, kind of like not as action-packed. There was little, you know, stuff that happened in the comic, but it was basically like meetings and this happened and that. And then all of a sudden, the people revolted against the Commonwealth, and then Rick got shot and done. That's kind of what it was. But so they spiced it up a little bit, like, ooh, that walker, he opened the door. Oh, he did this. Like, okay, great. Still chop his head off. I mean, come on. Like, it's not like you shoot him in the head 60 times and they keep coming for you. Stab him in the head and it's over, you know. But I don't know how the variants would impact at all Fear the Walking Dead, because they were climbing up the poles of the Commonwealth and they were opening this up and they were doing that. So it was like, oh, how they're gonna get into buildings now. Nowhere's safe. But on Fear the Walking Dead, really, it's been like out in the marsh, out in the open. The variants don't have any extra stuff for them there. It's like they're just walking along. Are they going to be climbing the trees and jumping out of the trees? They're going to be doing this? I don't know. With only 12 episodes, I don't know how it would fit. But again, I don't write for the show, and I don't know what they're going to do is. But to me, the variants are a way to be like, how can we wrap things up? Where did The Walking Dead start? Remember that walker that turned the doorknob? Remember the walker that picked up the teddy bear? Remember the walker that had a rock in its hand? It was like, ah! Remember the walker that had a coffee cup in his hand? Remember the walkers that did this and did that? Well, they're still around. And they're going to be in everything, you know, like, so maybe we'll see them in Dead City and, you know, things. But that was kind of like, oh, man, like it was a shocking moment for, they would just be like set up for shock and awe. Wow, that walker opened the door? That walker, you know, drove a car. You see like walkers like get a Jeep, like, let's go guys, come on, we got people to bite, come on. No, come on. It's just laughable, it's hilarious. That's like cheesy, campy, dumb stuff. Like, it's a fine line of doing stuff like that. And I'm glad we don't have like walker or zombie animals and zombie babies and stuff. That's like cheese. That's like so bad. for what it is. The way they do it on like Z Nation or certain things, like. So we didn't go that route and whatever, but it is what it is. And either way, Fear the Walking Dead finally did something great, memorable, exciting. And even then, it's like Mo was annoying. The stuff was annoying. It's like it was like it was still. It was good, and it was really good for Fear the Walking Dead, but it was still Fear the Walking Dead good, which you know what I'm saying. So there you go, guys. That's my hour. I'm excited for you guys to check out the episode if you haven't seen it. I'll be making videos all week talking about the stuff there. Hopefully, I get to see From Season 2, Episode 7. I don't know what the deal is with that on all the different platforms, but hopefully you guys will check it out. I'll be back next Sunday for our live stream, which, again, 2 weeks away. We got Dead City. So I'm excited to talk about that. Plus the mid-season finale of Fear the Walking Dead Season 8. So thank you, guys. I'll be back next Sunday. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And remember, guys, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it. Keep working hard. Keep doing things on there as well. I'll be back next Sunday. Let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below, and I'll see you guys. See ya.